This time the quick speed shop, I'm trying to line, mount, and fit the hood and the grill on the Model A hot rod shop. Alright, so getting the grill shell mounted up, I've got a piece of tin here I'm making here, and I'm going to use a 1/4 screw through the grill shell here, and I'm just laying it out. There's going to be two bolts holding this to the side of the radiator here, and then my cross piece, which is a piece of angle iron with a filler panel here, has a Zeus fittings for to hold the hood down, so the hood tray will come across here. I think that'll bolt down here, but so I made this panel long enough where I can bolt through when I sandwich the grill shell together. This is all pushed together. But I made this out of a piece of 14 gauge steel, which should be plenty strong enough to hold everything together here. The lower mount, the lower part of the radiator is going to suck in just a little bit away from the frame. And there's another hole down here on the radiator. I'll just make a sheet metal tab to come off of that and go over here and pick this up, and I'll hook the bottom of that in. I just bent the sheet metal over in the brake, and then I used a pair of crescent wrench here. I used a crescent wrench, and I just put it in a vise, and I tweaked this, and I put this little step in it to match the grill shell. Worked pretty nice, pretty easy to form. This stuff's pretty stout, so it's easy to make a pretty nice shape like this and have it stay in there nice. So I get both sides mounted where I want it. I can fold the hood down and somehow transfer this line onto the hood and trim the front edge of the hood up and get the hood lined up. Once the hood sits down on here where it's going to sit, then I can mount the hood shelf where that's got to go and get all the gaps lined up. That'll mount all this front sheet metal up nice, and it'll be all good to go. This is a 79 Ford F-150 6-cylinder radiator, which I trimmed the sheet metal down here where it used to mount on the core support. They fit perfect under a Model A up to 34 Ford grill shell, a pickup grill shell, or a Model A up to 32 car grill shell. These things will fit inside the grill shell, and they're super cheap. I got this one at the junkyard for like 25 bucks, probably, well, it's been 15 years ago, and it still works good. So I've got my tab bolt up here. I drilled and tapped 2 holes through the sheet metal here where there was self-tapping screw holes, and I've tapped them out to 1/4. They've got about 1 thread hanging on, and I'm going to go ahead and put nuts on the back side when I get it all finally assembled. But at least I can mount it on here now like this. If I lift the hood up, fall off. Oh, uh-oh, thing's going away. There we go. Oop. There, so now I can, that's bolted out. I got a screw here, got the 1/4 screw. Oh, that wasn't good. Dang it! Oh no! Son of a gun. Fell right, paint, shiny side down, now it's all scratched out. That's alright, I'm turning this truck back into flat black anyways. So, here we go. So that'll bolt on down here. When I set the hood back up, I'll make the match to the other side here, get the top mounted, screw it down, and then I can suck these in and make my 2 lower mounts, and that'll lock this grill shell in right tight. The old Harbor Freight brake here doesn't have enough nuts to bend this 14 gauge, hardly at all. It really springs the thing right up. It barely works at all. Gives me the start of the crease in it here. I gotta take it over the vise and bang it the rest of the way in the vise. There's some dead blow action. There we go. Too bad. Alright, forming the piece here, I've got the notch working here for the screw hole. What I did is I just clamped this in the vise like so, and I worked it down with some pliers, and I started getting where I want it. I just held this piece in here and just worked it with the body hammer here, and I just worked and tapped this down and beat it all around in there until I formed it up to a nice dimple that I want to go into the grill shell mount, but I've got to open this angle up. I made it about 90 degrees, and it can't be 90 degrees. So I'm just opening her up here with the hammer a little bit. But it's springy and it hurts my hand, so let's see what happens. Ow. Just trying to open it up a little bit. Just got to keep working it until I get the fitment close, and I'll be drilling a hole in here in the indentation. That'll be the screw to hold the other side of the upper side of the grill shell together. Then I'm just going to trim the corners off with a Beverly shear and round the corners are off nice to make it fit up in there. But I got it pretty close now, and I made a simple little lower mount down here that goes this hole and over here to the hole on the grill shell. Just a little piece of 1-inch wide 14 gauge. Where is it? 1-inch wide 14 gauge. I just bent it up to fit, and it goes right down on here like this. So that mounts the bottom side of the grill shell in nice here, and I just got to go, this is just roughly trimmed over the cross member. I'm going to go probably 1/4 inch above the frame rail and draw a line across here and bring it out to the front and trim bottom of the grill shell off parallel with the frame. And then somehow I'm going to have to finish up this cut edge here so it doesn't crack. I'll probably weld a piece of solid rod on the inside of the grill shell to form, you know, strengthen this up where this is all trimmed out around the cross member here. When I remake this hood shelf piece, I've got to cut this sheet metal off. I'll remake this piece here with it fit right out to the edge of the grill shell and make it a little bit longer so there's not such a gap between the frame and here, but it'll tie all this right together in here, and it'll be fine, and it'll look good and be ready to rock and roll. And then I'll also hold my hood down. So I'm trying to think what I can do to lay this out to trim it, and I'm thinking what I might do is take some grease and lay it up here on the lip of this grill shell, and then if I set the hood in the grease and then open it back up, it'll make a mark on the inside of the grill, and then I'll know, it'll give me a rough idea where to cut it. I could stay on the outside of it and creep up on it as I go. I got some blue axle grease here on my finger. I'm just going to dab it. Well, dab will do ya. Just going to dab it up here on the edge of this thing. Well, dab will do ya here. Close this. Looks like it's lined up pretty good. Press it here and open it back up. Aha! Perfect. Transferred me a line right there. So this grease mark is the top center of this grill piece here. So if I just mark just to the inside of that, my silver marker, or actually I'll just mark right where it is. And it gives me some marks to the center of this, and so I can run a tape line along the marker as long as I can see the marker. I know the marker's right in the center, so if I cut the marker off, it should be a lot closer. Then I can fine trim this edge as I get down there. But that'll work good. So I'll do the same thing over here, and then should be ready to trim this off just a little bit. All right, I'll wipe all this grease off, and I'll get the grinder out. I'll cut the edge of this preliminarily, and then sneak up on it and get it to fit good. Then I got to trim the center rod back here of the piano hinge and shorten that up and make a new front loop to catch the edge of the hood. But that shouldn't take too much figuring out, and then this thing will fit right down in here perfect. All right, the preliminary cut were gangbusters. I'm real close in the ballpark here. I'm pretty much where I gotta be. Just actually, it's a hair shy. It's right here. Took off about a 1/16 too much right here, but I've relayed the tape out by eyeball, looking at the ridge on the grill shell, and I think I can trim it probably with hand shears and trim it to the tape, and that'll get me real close. And then maybe I can use the grinder and just finish the edge, work it, and gap it out nice. Looking like it's gonna work out. Just a little more off here. Pretty much take it right down to my tape and I should be good. Once I get this mounted up here with the front mount, I'll probably just take the grinder and I'll even up this gap, because I'm gonna take a little out of there and a little out of here. It'd be a lot easier the grinder than the snips, but making curly cues. Right now the hood gap's trimmed up here good. I've been making a piece to mount the front here. I had to cut one of these hinge pieces off, so I simply took it and I welded it to a plate. And I got a reinforcing plate that goes underneath. So this is going to bolt right through the grill shell like this, and it'll support itself and it'll hold the hood down good. So let's take a look at that. So I just got to slip this on here and mark the holes where they're drilling. That. Make sure the hood's good. There's two holes in the grill shell, which you can't see because it's covered up. I'm just going to mark them with a marker onto my plate. Here, check it out. Two little machine screws will hold it right down here. I got the reinforcing piece under the grill shell, and it works fantastic. Bam, look at that. Fits here fine under the hood. The hood can't slide forward or back. I've got it all, it's pinned right up tight here, so it'll hold it down and it'll work awesome. Nice and simple, nice and easy. Bam, so the hood's pretty much done. I just got to dress up these edges where I hit it with a grinder. I'm going to hand file those nice, get those sanded down. Bam, that's awesome. It works fantastic. It's right on here. Everything's locked in good, nice and tight. I got my gaps all pretty much where I want them. They're close enough for this truck. So now I can fit up the side pieces for the Zeus fasteners down here. I can fit up those hood shelf pieces. I've got to cut the sheet metal off the front here because it's not the right shape. I'm going to cut this off, make a new panel here, but I can get the this is angle iron. I can get the Zeus panels mounted up next now that the hood is located. Bam, look at this. Got the bar mounted up here. I'll show you how the hood works. So these are Zeus fasteners, and they're quarter turn mount, and there's a little piece of like spring clip back here that they hook onto, so the hood comes down, goes onto the hood shelf here, and then put in the fasteners like so. This is all race car stuff. Probably help me go faster now. But you put the where is it? Get in there. Put it in there, and it's a quarter turn, and it locks on those spring clips like that. Bam. Completely secure. So that's how they put body panels and hoods and stuff on race cars. Is they have these Zeus fasteners. It's DZUS. That's how you spell it. But it's pronounced Zeus. So there we go. I got this mounted up. You know, with this hole open here. Of course, you can see the radiator a little bit from the side. You got this unfinished edge of the grill shell. Then you got all this big gap in here. I think it makes the hood look too long with this big hole on the side of it. But when you go and you block it off like that, it makes, I think it shrinks it up to your eyeball. It's an optical delusion, and it helps it look a little bit shorter. So I'm going to get on making that right now. So I got these both cut out. They should be the same shape, size. Yes, they are. Alright, I got a line up here. I'm going to use the brake and put my 1-inch bend on here after I hammer these corners out flat. But those are the air shears. They work awesome. But you got to lay out 3/16 is what it cuts out of here. You got to make sure you measure correctly so you don't cut on the wrong side of the line. I've done that before. But I got a lot of moisture in my air line for some reason. I got to fight with that next. But, bam. Let's try it. Bam, there we go. It's a Harbor Freight brake. It's not the best. I've gone past 90 here, but I had to get a little bit of action there. I'll straighten that back out on the die, but nice rounded edge. That'll look good on there. I won't go so far on this one. Here we go. Alright, here we go. Let's see how it fits. Ooh, that's nice. Nice. So, that's where it's going to go, just like that. So what I got to do now is I'm holding this up where it's got to be. I just got to mark here and mark down here. And I'll trim this diagonal off with the shear. Should be good to go. Mark that right there. Hold still. Hold still. Take this right over to the shear and shear this right off, and we should be good to go. That's money right there. See, I've got a little high spot here with the cutters, but look at that. Bam. It's going to be perfect. There you go. That's the panel. Tomorrow I'll get out my welder. I'll buzz this on, but the hood and all the fitment and the sheet metal is essentially done. Just got to center out the bodywork and paint. Just like the car guys do on a TV show. We're like, oh yeah, we'll just fab her up and just center out the bodywork and paint. So I'll do that. I'll fab this up, and then I'll send it to bodywork and paint, which is me. One thing that I did realize I forgot is the heads are staggered on any engine when you flip them side to side, so the headers are here and here. So this header gap between this and panel and here is like 3.5 inches. On the other side it's 2.5 or so, because the head is up farther on the driver's side and there's a bigger gap back here. And I could have made the panels staggered to keep the hole the same, but I think it'd be dumb to have one big panel, one small panel. So the panels are the same, the headers are just going to be staggered. But you can only see one side at a time, so nobody's going to notice, except you guys watch the video. Well, I went and I welded it on anyways. I can be out here a little bit later, and I wanted to get it done. So I got it welded on here nice. I'll grind it down tomorrow. And I got the other side welded on too. I think that looks pretty good. Bam. So I can grind this right down flush, just like metal finish this. No filler needed, be good enough. And so now that's it. Now I'll go to the outro. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I'm putting out new videos every Wednesday and Saturday. Hit the bell for alerts. Tell your friends. And as always, we'll see you right back here at the Quick Speed Shop for more tinkering on the Model A Hot Rod Shop Truck.